So we are here in Istanbul for World Routes, and I'm joined here by Majid Khan, who is Vice President of Aviation Development at İGA İstanbul Airport. So Majid, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks a lot. Nice to see you again.
My first question for you is that you must be very excited to be hosting World Routes here in Istanbul. What does it mean for your airport, and what is it you're hoping to achieve?
I mean, 4 years ago when I started actually at Istanbul Airport, we thought, okay, Istanbul is a huge city. We got a brand new airport, so most probably going to sell itself, even though route development is very, very important. I was very surprised with the perception from network planners. Everyone thought we are a hub. That's true, we are a hub. And they all needed partnership with Turkish Airlines. But actually not one single airport mentioned that we don't need a partner and we can rely on Istanbul as a destination. So I would say that was the biggest surprise. And that was the reason we decided to bid for Routes World. And obviously it's part of our route development strategy because we would like to diversify our airline mix. So Turkish Airlines is obviously a very important partner for us, covering almost 80% of the traffic. But we would like to attract more airlines from Asia. We don't have any North American carriers yet. And on the point-to-point potential, where especially from Europe, as Turkish Airlines from Europe to Asia, they're competing with the big three from Middle East. So their main focus is transfer and not point-to-point. So of course, obviously, we would like to attract some LCCs as well from Europe. And on top of that, I mean, concerning Routes World, if an airline have thought about Istanbul, let's say within the next 5 to 7 years, we hope the perception will gonna change during these 3 days, and we might get higher up on the priority list.
Absolutely, and of course I've been here a few days myself before the conference began, so I've seen for myself all the fantastic sites that Istanbul has to offer. So we spoke previously about the efforts that you've been making to make İGA Istanbul a Chinese-friendly airport. Please tell me how that has been going for you, and have there been any new developments?
Sure. I mean, that was the first thing we did after we had developed our aviation strategy back in 2020. We thought, okay, I mean, our perception was pandemic will obviously not last forever. So let's prepare ourselves for a post-pandemic era. And when we look on the Chinese market, I mean, in 2019, we had approximately 430,000 Chinese tourists. And that's a very limited number compared to Turkish, to the potential of the Turkish Republic. So I have always personally used Helsinki as a very good benchmark. It's an impressive airport, especially for Asian travelers. So we mapped the customer journey actually of the Chinese travelers and developed a lot of services. So like all our digital signages at the airport are in Chinese, flight information screen are in Chinese, we have dedicated check-in counters, dedicated gates for Chinese flights, Chinese speaking guides, hot water dispensers, WeChat Pay, and furthermore we signed a strategic partnership with Trip.com. I mean, they are the largest OTA in Asia. We believe that's part of the route development effort to take it to next level, that you need to involve travel trade. So we signed a strategic partnership with them that as soon as China will reopen, they will promote Istanbul as a hub in China. And I mean, having 400 million customers in their database, we believe that is a great opportunity for us to promote Istanbul as a hub to Europe and Africa for the Chinese travelers.
And have you seen any effect? I mean, I know China has only just reopened, but have you seen any effect of these efforts that you've been making in the number of Chinese passengers you've seen come through your airport?
Yes, we have. I mean, when we speak with Chinese carriers, of course, having Chinese services, it is not, you can say it's not a game changer, but it helped it's one of the enablers to help convincing Chinese carriers as well. But when they can see their passengers are happy, they have a seamless journey, I mean, they feel like they are in China when they are actually in Istanbul. So before the pandemic, we had two Chinese carriers. We had China Southern and Sichuan Airlines. Now we just got the third one, China Eastern Airlines, operating 3 times a week from Shanghai, and we expect to see them increasing from next year. Furthermore, we are hopefully very soon to announce the 4th Chinese carrier, and we hear only positive feedback when they hear about Chinese-friendly airport, and all Chinese flights which arrive into Istanbul Airport 1 hour before the arrival into Istanbul, on the IFE screens, the passengers can see actually a video actually showcasing all the services we had about the Chinese travelers. So they are fully aware which services we have when they land at Istanbul Airport.
That's fantastic. And in terms of any passenger trends that you've been viewing among the travellers through your airports, are there any that you've been keeping your eye on and that you think might inform a future route?
In terms of the, I mean, specific market, or?
Yeah, just in terms of passenger behaviour, any wants or needs that you've been seeing come through.
I mean, concerning our market, I mean, before we moved to this new airport, when we look on our flag carrier, Turkish Airlines, they were competing directly with the big three from Middle East. They're still competing with the big three from Middle East, but the airport was a different product. Obviously, Dubai and Doha was, I mean, a much better product. So we could see the price level, average fares were lower out of Istanbul versus the big three, right? Yeah. Three Middle Eastern hubs. But average fares have increased a lot. But in terms of passenger behavior, I mean, previously they were seeing the airports as just infrastructure providers, but now they have their favorite airports as well, beside having a favorite airline. And they expect, I mean, at Istanbul Airport, we have, couple of daily waves. So for instance, we have focused a lot on being a family-friendly airport, focused on Z generation. We believe they are the decision makers and parents are those who are paying. So passengers have definitely higher expectations to the airport. And we believe that the offline market is decreasing, but online market is increasing as well. And that's the reason we have got this strategic partnership with Trip.com, which we believe will especially help us on the Asian side. And then we have got a partnership with Hotelsbed on the western side, because obviously we would like to attract some North American carriers. But it's really much about understanding your passengers which segments you would like to attract. So for instance, North American market, we have Turkish Airlines operating to 12 destinations in the US, 3 in Canada, but on top of that, we believe there is a huge cruise potential. So now we are in a process of developing a cruise product at Istanbul Airport, where passengers arriving into Istanbul can have a seamless journey to Galataport and then start the journey from here. So instead of using Istanbul as a short stopover point, we would like them to start the journey and end the journey at Istanbul. So arriving into Istanbul Airport, of course.
That's really interesting. Thank you so much for mentioning that. And I like what you said about airports moving away from just being infrastructure providers. They're moving more into the hospitality industry, I guess. And I arrived into your airport on my way here, and I'm very much looking forward to departing from it on the way home and getting a closer look. What are your challenges for this year then, would you say, Majid?
I mean, if you ask, traffic-wise, we are definitely on track. I mean, we are out of the woods. We had 69 million passengers in 2019. This year, we expect 12% growth. So we will reach 77 million. We had, 61 carriers a couple of years back, and now we got 96. We expect to reach 100. So in terms of that, it's going pretty well. But I would say our biggest challenge, of course, there is the changing geopolitical situation around the world that obviously affect us because we are located at a very central point. Secondly, bilaterals. In my opinion, the bilaterals are not up to date on the focus markets. Like we have limitations to China, for instance. We have limitations to the subcontinent. The market is much bigger, so the demand is high, but supply is low. Yeah. And same concerns to Europe. We would like to see, as I said, more LCCs coming into Istanbul. Furthermore, we don't have a based LCC carrier in Istanbul. When we compare with all our great competitors, Dubai, they got Fly Dubai, right? Amsterdam, they got Transavia, they got an EasyJet base. In Germany, they got Eurowings. We don't have anyone. So we are definitely missing that point-to-point part, and I would say these are some of our few challenges. Yeah.
And finally, what are the 3 most exciting developments happening at the airport this year? In the next year. In the next year, of course, it's growing the passenger numbers. And our target is to reach 100 million passengers by 2027. We believe we are on track. What we have heard from airlines during these, couple of days at routes, we hear a lot of positive development about Istanbul. We believe their perception will hopefully gonna change about Istanbul as a city. But we are, as an airport, looking on total cost of operation for the airline. It's not enough to attract the airline. For instance, we don't have any incentives compared to many of our competitors. But we have kept our charges at the lowest possible level.
At the same time, when an airline arrives, we sit together with them to analyze how can we help them to decrease the total cost of operation. So it could be specific gates, short taxi time. How can we help them on the marketing side to decrease the marketing budget? Because if the route becomes a success, we believe they can keep growing their business in Istanbul. So we will work on that. We will look more on understanding the passenger behavior. So like conducting more and more surveys, asking the passengers, our passengers at the who are around our airport, and sharing that information with the airlines, because that can help us to be better, and that can help our airlines as well.
Thank you so much, Majid. That was my final question.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.